This is News 25 with Deanna O'Donnell and Unette Gentry. News 25, local news you can count on. News is brought to you by J.K. Nelson Law. Call 727-9900 today for your free consultation. If you need a lawyer, you need Nelson. Today's news is also brought to you by Gunny's Air Conditioning and Heating. New service and repair. Call Gunny's 775-727-6800.
Welcome and thank you for joining us on this Tuesday, October 5th edition of News 25. I'm Deanna O'Donnell.
And I'm Unette Gentry. Thanks so much for joining us here at KPVM TV and A's Country Radio.
Well, a man accused of killing an elderly man at a home in Pahrump earlier this year is waiving his right to a trial and making a deal with the state.
38-year-old Jeff Caraballo appeared in Pahrump Justice Court to announce his intention to plead guilty to one count of second-degree murder. Caraballo was arrested in late June for the murder of 75-year-old Norman Bradley, whose body was discovered inside an apartment on 6 Shooter Avenue in Pahrump on June 24th. Neighbors identified Caraballo as a possible suspect, and Nye County detectives were able to track him down in Aurora, Colorado the following day. He was taken into custody and brought back to Nye County. Caraballo's attorney, Nathan Gent, explained to Judge Kent Jasperson the details of the plea agreement.
At this time, Mr. Caraballo wants to accept the offer extended by the state, which is to unconditionally waive his right to a preliminary hearing. At the district court level, he will be pleading guilty to one count of second-degree murder, which has the potential of 10 to life without use. In consideration for that, the state has agreed to dismiss and/or not pursue all other charges that potentially could be brought against Mr. Caraballo.
Caraballo will be bound over to district court, where he's set to appear before Judge Robert Lane for sentencing on October 25th.
An FA-18 Super Hornet crashes in Death Valley National Park Monday at approximately 3 p.m. That pilot was treated for minor injuries at Sunrise Hospital in Las Vegas and thankfully released later that night. The aircraft was assigned to Air Test and Evaluation Squadron 9, based at Naval Air Weapons Station China Lake. Search and rescue units from NAS China Lake, Fort Irwin Army Base, and Marine Aviation Weapons and Tactics Squadron 1 from Marine Corps Air Station Yuma responded to that scene and rescued that pilot. Thankfully, no civilians were harmed as a result of this incident. That aircraft crashed in a remote area of southern Death Valley National Park. The National Park Service and Navy will work together to coordinate cleanup of this wilderness area. The incident is currently under investigation, and the U.S. Navy is cooperating fully with local authorities.
An investigation by the Nye County Sheriff's Office has put 2 men behind bars, both accused of trying to lure underage girls to engage in sex.
Anthony Rodriguez and Junior Solis Vidal are under arrest and facing charges related to alleged attempts to lure a minor to engage in sex. The Nye County Sheriff's Office says both men were taken into custody in Pahrump on 2 separate occasions after attempting to meet up with who they believe was a 13-year-old girl they'd met through a social media app. Rodriguez and Solis Vidal are both from Las Vegas. In both cases, Rodriguez and Solis Vidal had exchanged numerous text and video messages directly with the juvenile and through the social media app. What they didn't know at the time was the 13-year-old girl was actually a detective with the Nye County Sheriff's Office. Some of those texts were quite explicit, and some of the images they sent were graphic in nature. Rodriguez was taken into custody September 27th when he arrived in Pahrump to meet up with the juvenile. He was booked into the Nye County Detention Center on several counts, including attempted possession of pornography of a person under the age of 16, attempted use of a minor to produce pornography, luring a child to engage in sex, sexual assault against a child under the age of 14, and exhibiting, distributing, or selling obscene material to a minor. Solis Vidal was taken into custody October 4th when he too arrived in Pahrump to meet up with the supposed minor. Solis Vidal is in the Nye County Detention Center, where he faces 1 count of luring a child to engage in sex and attempted sexual assault against a child under the age of 14.
A staff member with the Finance Department of Nye County government resigns at a recent Board of County Commissioners meeting. Allegations of political interference and personal agendas are some of the reasons for her resignation. For more on this, Matthew Davis.
For anyone in the audience of the September 21st Board of County Commissioners meeting, it was apparent that Samantha Kramer was getting emotional during her address to the board during public comment at the start of the meeting.
I'd like to inform the board of my decision to leave my position with Nye County. Over the past couple years, I have really enjoyed working with the wonderful employees of Nye County, especially our fantastic finance team, which includes the best bosses ever.
Ms. Kramer was the grant administrator for Nye County government. During her time in office, she alleges that significant interference and hostile comments from certain commissioners are to blame for her decision to resign.
I accepted the position of grants administrator with such excitement, and I could not wait to get assistance out to the community. That quickly changed when COVID hit and CARES funding became available. I started seeing political and personal agendas come forward on utilizing this funding. This continued with the implementation of the Nye County COVID Relief Program. With the help and support of our amazing team, we continued to get assistance out to the community. Ultimately, my decision to leave is based on the additional administrative burden caused by the decisions of the board and the hostile comments from commissioners. My recommendations to implement the new programs were disregarded, creating an immense workload. Another issue we have faced is during the implementation of these programs, a commissioner labeled Nye County staff as a swamp that needs to be drained. This comment enticed the public to treat us poorly while we were assisting them. I have seen the beratement of staff during commissioner meetings and am disappointed in how this is handled. I am all for public transparency, but when you belittle staff, you create animosity and a hostile work environment. Although I have made my decision to further my career elsewhere, I do believe Nye County can and will do better, but this starts with the commissioners and their actions.
After Ms. Kramer ended her public comments, she was met with applause from the audience.
And I will continue to pray for the unification and success of our county. Thank you.
Thank you.
Affordable health care news for our community and info on Pahrump's continued development when News 25 returns.
You're watching News 25, the most recognized and farthest-reaching local news in Nye County. News 25, local news you can count on.
Welcome back. Hundreds of people were able to get needed medical, dental, and vision care during the remote area medical free clinic this weekend here in Pahrump.
It was great. I've never been to the dentist before, and the ladies that helped me, they did a filling, and it was fantastic. I didn't feel anything, and they were super nice, and it was great.
We were able to see hundreds of patients. The clinic was awesome. Everything went really, really smooth. A lot of great services, a lot of great ancillary services, mental health, so we're really happy, and everything went great. With medical, dental, vision, mental health, you name it, we did it. COVID vaccines, flu shots, eyeglasses were made on site. Once the numbers are final and official, we'll get that sent over to you and give you an update. Thank you to all the volunteers, hundreds of volunteers, tons of providers from all over the country, so we're really honored and happy to have them here again. Blue Rovo Clinic with Cleveland Clinic, they were here, did a lot of healthy brain checks, and they did a lot of neurological exams, and they've said that they'll come back next year, so we're looking forward to having them. If you're a provider, hit us up. We'll give you all the details for next year's clinic. It's always the first weekend in October.
Thanks so much to everybody who participated in that, and Ryan Muccio, of course. Well, if you'd like to learn more about remote area medical, including volunteer opportunities, you can visit their website at ramusa.org. And if you'd like to make a donation to the RAM Free Clinic here in Pahrump, you can contact Nye Communities Coalition, 775-727-9970.
In other local news, there's progress on a new proposed subdivision near Simpkins Park on the north end of Pahrump. Property developer Kent Murphy goes before the board at a recent county commissioners meeting to present his revised residential plan.
The last time we heard anything about the proposed subdivision known as North Canyon Homes was last year. Earlier in 2020, developer Ken Murphy pitched his idea for developing a 16-acre plot of land and creating 67 homes that would have smaller yards and less square footage and would be marketed towards first-time home buyers and those looking to downsize. However, the board at the time had concerns as to the impact these homes would have on long-term water consumption. Mr. Murphy came back to the board with a revised proposal in July of 2020 with the development that would have 32 individual houses with approximately 2,000 to 3,000 square feet of living space and be placed on half-acre plots.
Well, it's 30 half-acre lots located next to the Simpkins Park.
Yep.
It'll be gated, it'll have an HOA involved, and there'll be custom-built homes.
When Ken Murphy addressed the board on the 21st of September, there were some slight modifications to the development plan. One of those details is that North Canyon Homes will be a gated community and feature 30 individual residences.
Gated community sounds nice.
Pros and cons. I have different people coming in every day to our model home telling us that they don't want them, and others that do want them because they're concerned about their safety. Usually they're older people. There are a few with children who come in who want to take a lot when they're available because they want to be able to take advantage of the sidewalks, the street lights, the curb and gutter, where they can walk around their subdivision without walking into the street or on dirt.
After no comments were given during public comment, the motion passed unanimously, 5-0.
Well, the CDC is now recommending booster shots for certain populations who previously received the Pfizer vaccine. This includes adults who are 65 years or older. The Cleveland Clinic doctor says that this age group is more vulnerable to the virus.
People who are older who do get COVID, they have more likelihood of being hospitalized and also increased risk of mortality. So 80% of the COVID-related deaths that we're seeing are all above the age of 65. And so as much protection as you can get to try to shore up those defenses, the better.
Dr. Ardeshir Hashmi specializes in geriatric medicine. He says while the vaccine is effective, immunity can wane over time, which is why the booster shot is recommended. It's important to note that only those who received both doses of the Pfizer vaccine are eligible at the moment, and their last shot had to have been at least 6 months ago. Moderna and Johnson & Johnson are not offering booster shots at this time. However, that is expected to change in the near future. Dr. Hashmi encourages everyone to get the booster shot if they qualify, especially with the highly contagious Delta variant circulating.
More contagious and also very, very impactful in terms of mortality, hospitalizations, and just severity of illness. The symptoms can be quite profound. And so, yes, good reason to be focusing in on the Delta.
Dr. Hashmi says older individuals should also continue to take other precautions to stay safe, like wearing a mask, washing their hands, and practicing social distancing.
Well, Death Valley National Park completes improvements to the iconic thermometer display at Furnace Creek Visitor Center. The first stage of the improvement project, completed in 2020, was switching the Fahrenheit-only display to a dual Fahrenheit-Celsius display. Over half of the park's summertime visitors are international tourists more familiar with Celsius. Now a tile mosaic has been added to that exhibit. This artistic representation of key sites at the park provides info about how temperatures vary with elevation.
And the influenza season is fast approaching, and while last season saw historically low influenza activity nationwide due to precautions taken to prevent the spread of COVID-19, Nevadans are encouraged to receive a flu shot as the 2021-22 season begins. The use of masks, improved hygiene practices, avoidance of large group gatherings, and social distancing all contributed to low flu rates for the 2020-21 season. But as last influenza season ended and COVID-19 restrictions were relaxed, influenza-like illness case counts began to rise, reaching levels higher than those seen during the season. Influenza-like illnesses continue to increase in Nevada, and the upcoming season brings many unknowns specifically related to COVID-19 co-infections circulating with other respiratory illnesses, including influenza and respiratory syncytial virus. You can get your flu shot from the physician at our many community health nurse offices throughout Nye County. You can also call locally 775-751-7070 for more information.
All right, stay tuned. Your sports after this break.
You're watching News 25, brought to you by Mountain West Lawyer, Injury Attorneys, 727-9500. News 25, local news you can count on.
Welcome back. Well, the Raiders' perfect season comes to an end Monday night. Meanwhile, the Pahrump Trojan football team puts one in the win column. With those sports stories and more, here's Doug Ferber.
Hello, sports fans. While my focus has been mostly with Pahrump Valley High School sports, the Rosemary Clark Middle School football team has quietly gone 3-0 and are set to play in the championship game this weekend. Coach Ryan Ansell filled me in this morning.
We had two games. We had a game where we traveled to Eureka. We won 28-16. And then we had another game against Round Mountain. We hosted Round Mountain and we won that game 39-12. Both competitive games. The scores might not reflect that. We do host, we play in the championship game on Saturday. We're not sure of whether we're hosting or not yet, but it's going to be this weekend and we're going to play White Pine.
Good luck to the Sharks in their quest for the fall season's first championship. Meanwhile, the PVHS girls soccer team handed league rival Boulder City its first conference loss of the season, beating the Eagles 5-0 yesterday in Boulder City. The PVHS girls are now 5-1 on the season. The Lady Trojan volleyball team were swept in 3 straight games yesterday, also at Boulder City, losing 25-15, 25-5, and 25-17. Well, it took a minute, but the Trojan football team finally wound up in the win column in Friday night's homecoming game against Slam. The Trojans won 20-18 thanks to Chase Otteson, Henry Amaya, and Zach Quaylar combining for 158 of the Trojans' 208 yards rushing in the win. Coach Joe Clayton was pleased. He said that the offensive line opened gaping holes for the trio to run through. We go as you go, Clayton tells the linemen. The Trojans host Cadence on Friday night, hoping to extend their win streak. The PVHS tennis team is hosting Sunrise Mountain this afternoon. I hope to report on that outcome on Thursday. The PVHS cross-country team travels to Boulder City for a league meet tomorrow. The Las Vegas Aces have their backs against the wall in a best-of-5 semifinal series against the Phoenix Mercury. The Mercury took Game 2 and 3 of the series and now lead 2-1. Sunday, the Aces lost 87-60. Both teams go at it again in Phoenix tomorrow night. If the Aces win, the 5th and deciding game will be played in Las Vegas on Friday night. The Las Vegas Raiders and their perfect season came to a crashing halt last night as the Los Angeles Chargers jumped to a 21-0 halftime advantage, eventually winning 28-14. The Raiders, Denver Broncos, and the Chargers are all now 3-1 and tied for the AFC West lead heading into Week 5. The Raiders host the Chicago Bears at Allegiant Stadium next Sunday with kickoff set for 1:05 p.m. If you have any athletes, inspirational stories, or ideas, drop me an email at dougf@kpvm25.tv. Now back to the news desk.
Thanks so much, Doug. Well, it's time to meet a pet that's available for adoption right now. In today's Save a Pet, Darby O'Donnell Westerman introduces us to Moby.
Hi, I'm Darby here at Desert Haven Animal Society, and we are joined once again with Moby. Moby has been here since June, which is really sad because he's such a sweet little boy. He is a 2-year-old yellow lab mix, very, very beautiful golden coloring, and he has such a special little feature about him. He has beautiful icy blue eyes. They're very intense to look at, but he's a sweet little boy. He is shy at first, so he's definitely a dog you want to bring out to the yard, spend a minimum of 15 minutes with so he can warm up to you. Also, if you can, get onto the ground with him and allow him to approach you and get used to you, and then he'll be wonderful. If you want to come and see Moby or any of his friends here at Desert Haven Animal Society, you can give them a call, 775-751-7020. Or you can look them up on their Facebook page at Desert Haven Animal Society. He's behind me because I'm petting his butt.
News 25 Weather Cam is brought to you by Lerner and Rowe Injury Attorney's Office in Pahrump. In a wreck, need a check? Call 702-877-1500.
Speaking of the new Miss Westerman, the man of honor at her wedding, Ryan Muccio, provides this shot to KPVM of the first snow on the mountains. Your weather when we return.
News 25 Weather is brought to you by Dairy Council of Nevada. The splash of cream in your coffee, the dollop of sour cream on your burrito, the melted toasty cheese on your pizza. Undeniably delicious, undeniably dairy. Enjoy what's real.
Hi, good evening, Nevada. It's John Kohler from the KPVM Channel 25 Weather Studios. Lovely to behold you on a Taco Tuesday. And as we look at the fall weather temperatures, everybody's all impressed with nature. Look at this. Fernley Fallon, 80, 81 degrees up in Carson City and all the way down to Goldfield. And Beatty even, it's high 70s. Amargosa, you're touching on 80s, 83 degrees. Vegas, you barely made it at 80 degrees. Death Valley, it's a palindrome, 96 degrees for a high, 69 for a low. And here in the dusky desert jewel, the kingdom of Nye, the paradise of Pahrump, 77 degrees is our current temperature. 79 it was our hot point earlier, and what was that with the surprise rain? I guess you're going to get that. You got 33% humidity and clouds all week long. All right, we're going to have a little rain here and there. Sun rose this morning in all its glory and promise at 6:42, setting this evening at 6:21 p.m. Make it must-see nature vision for yourself. A low tonight, 61 degrees, and the humidity is just picking up, swampier and swampier every single minute. 43% humidity as we head on into the week. And what does that mean? Lots of clouds, tickle, tickle, lots of clouds. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I think we're going to see some rain here and there. They were talking like a lot of rain on Friday, but check out Saturday, Sunday. Winds reversing directions from out of the south. Coming at us from the north, all those clouds disappear. Temperatures start rising up into dang near 80 degrees. But what happens Tuesday? They double down on that north-north wind, and temperatures dropping all the way down to 63 degrees. It's a problem for future Johnny. Me no likey. All right, back to the desk. Here's Deanna.
Have a great night.
Good night.